So it is my last show before 4th of July, my favorite holiday. And I thought I would give you what teams really symbolize America. Not necessarily winning the most championships. What teams in America, in all these sports, in all these leagues, all this history in America, what teams symbolize what America's about? So I would say the Dallas Cowboys, they are known as America's team. Okay? Most popular team in America on social media. So it's not just their tradition, but generation after generation, they remain relevant. Of the 9 most watched regular season games in the NFL last year, of the 9, 6 were Cowboy games. And they're situated right in the middle of the country. 3-hour flight to L.A., 3-hour flight to Miami, 3:45 flight to New York, the Dallas Cowboys. How about the Green Bay Packers? Small town kid makes it big. They're the 146th biggest market in the country and the only publicly owned American sports franchise. What makes their story great is that usually we think of small towns as high school football, middle-sized towns as college football, and big cities as professional football. But they're the 146th biggest town in America, the smallest market of any Big Four team, meaning baseball, basketball, football, hockey. The Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, there's a lot of Steeler fans around the country. They still, more than the Cowboys, the Steelers have more fans go to road games than any other franchise. Now, the reason being is that the steel industry in the 70s and 80s shrank, and it displaced all those people living in Pittsburgh that lost the steel jobs, and they moved all over the country. They moved to Miami. They moved to the Midwest. They're tied for the most Super Bowl wins. They've always had a very sort of working class lunch pail ethos. The terrible towels, Myron Cope, the announcer, started those, waving all across America. How about we go glamour now? I think the LA Lakers. I think they're the most glamorous franchise in America. Not saying the best or most popular. They're the most glamorous. They're the most connected to Hollywood. Hollywood creates Netflix. All of our television is created in Hollywood. It may not be, you know, we're a country that loves our middle class, that loves our Steelers, that loves our lunch pail, but we also like our glamour. It's a celebrity hangout spot. Hollywood's biggest brand, the Lakers. How about the New York Yankees? That's an easy one. The biggest villain in sports. Listen, America likes its villains. America's okay with villains. Somebody to root for, somebody to root against. The Yankees have 27 championships, the most of any of the major sports teams. Iconic uniforms, iconic history, Babe Ruth, iconic players. Many would argue after the Cowboys, they're number 2 on the list. I would say the Chicago Cubs, because they don't have as rich a history. They're the lovable losers. 108 years without winning a World Series. But when they did get there, 40 million Americans. Now, this is baseball, not the NFL. That number is unbelievable. 40 million Americans watched them win the World Series. That is the most watched baseball game in 30 years. And that's without winning. And that's playing games in the middle of the day at home when most people didn't watch them. They were losers in the middle of the day, bad teams, bad players, shaky ownership. But there's something that spoke to America that when they finally got there, 40 million people watched. How about Duke University? To me, it's aspirational. It is basketball and academic excellence. Coach K has the most wins in the country, the most successful college basketball program over the last 30 years, one of the hardest academic institutions in America, and they really have not had, for 3 decades, they're one of, if not the only national brand in America. Think about this. They have not had a drought. Yankees did in the 80s. Lakers did 5 last years with Kobe. The Smush Parker years. Lakers have had droughts. Yankees, Packers were bad for 20 years. Early 70s, late 80s, early 90s. Alabama football, 18 years in between titles. USC football down now. Duke's the only brand in America never down. 30 years. And finally, the most popular college athletic program from people who didn't go there, Notre Dame. It's got the biggest sidewalk alumni in college sports, meaning it's got more fans that didn't actually attend the university. Yes, Notre Dame. They finally have another top coach in Brian Kelly. They're now a 10-win program. Most popular college football team had their own network for years. They still do it on NBC. Have their own network. They joined the ACC, but still their games are on NBC. So I think those are America's teams. Cowboys, Packers, Steelers, Lakers, Yankees, Cubs, Duke, Notre Dame. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.